Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lisette Montserrat Guzman Zavala. I study in a University Polytechnic de Atlautla, and the subject is Fundamentals of Physics, and the topic is Sum of Vectors by the analytic and graphic method. The problem is to get the result of the graph shown in the video. To facilitate the result, we separate the vectors in the following way, placing the union lines of the x and y axes. Having those lines, we look for the necessary legs, which are the opposite and adjacent leg. The opposite leg is the one that is in front or angle, and the adjacent one is the line of the angle. With this that we can begin to calculate the sine and cosine. For that we need these forms. The begin with we occupy the sine, and for that we need the opposite leg, in this case AG, and that we divide by the measure of the vector, which is 6 meters. The result is 3 meters on the y-axis of vector A. Second step, take the cosine from the same angle, but now we need the adjacent leg, which is AX, and that we divide by the measure of my vector, the same as the previous 6 meters, and it is equivalent to 5.20 meters on the x-axis for vector A. We finish with the first one, and now depending of the vector you have. In my case 4. You must do these two same steps to calculate sine and cosine of each vector. You only change the signs in some cases when the x-axis is negative or the y-axis is negative. For example, the vector c, in my case, the x-axis and y are negative, but in the b vector we have the negative x-axis, and in the vector d the y-axis is negative. To confirm the result of the vector ax is equal to 5.20, bx is equal to negative 6.58, in the cx is equal to negative 0.87, and dx is equal to 1.03. Now let's review the vectors g. AG is equal to 3 meters by the equal to is 2.39. In the vector CG is equal to negative 4.92, and the vector DG is equal to negative 3.87, all in meters. Once the sine and cosine of each vector have been taken, it is necessary to add all the vectors h and vectors g separately. In a sum of the vectors, x is equal to negative 1.22, and in the vectors g is equal to negative 3.39. Finally, in the analytic method, we calculate the root of the resultant of x squared plus the resultant of y squared. That's equal to 3.62 meters. In the graphical method, you must draw your Cartesian plane and place the vectors according to the angle and measure. The correct way to put a vector is h that ends one in the end you place the beginning of the other vector. The example is in the photograph next. This is all. I finish. Thanks for attention and goodbye.